The Mk5 Golf GTI and the Fn2 Honda Civic Type R were released at similar times, so they are contemporaries. They do have similar power, however they are completely different cars. One is turbocharged and one is naturally aspirated. We thought the fairest way to compare the cars was to have the GTI owner drive the Honda Civic Type R and give his thoughts, and then on the other side have the Type R owner drive the GTI and give his thoughts. So in this video we're comparing the Mk5 Golf GTI and the Fn2 Honda Civic Type R.
Every time they see me pull up, everybody say mashallah. Catch me on the flight, you not gonna catch me on the corner. Trying to make this team, me not gonna mix up in the drama. They chatty blah blah, messing with my karma.
Okay, so I'm in Abo's Honda Civic Type R Fn2. It's like a spaceship in here, so I'm gonna push to start. Oh, the K20 sounds really good. Anyway, let's just get on the road. Straight away, it doesn't feel as fast as the Golf because it doesn't have a turbo. So the Golf low down, it really pushes you back in your seat. But then the Honda has something called VTEC, so about 5,500 RPM. VTEC's going to come in. And that's variable valve timing, and the car will pick up speed a lot quicker. And yeah, so I'm going to try, this is a bit of a straight road, so I'll go third gear. That says at 5. Yeah, VTEC's really fun. Oh, the noise of the engine as well. I was running out of road here, so I had to slow down. But yeah, VTEC's addictive. It's addictive. So this is a completely different experience. As in turbocharged, you'll change gear quite early to get that low down torque. This, you just ring out every single gear, and it is really fun. What I've noticed is, I think this gearbox is better than the Golf's. It's quite notchy, but it's also smooth, and the throw's not that long. So you can change gear and go through all the gears really good, which is good on the back roads, which is exactly what you want. So I'm going to wait for the road to open up a bit to hit VTEC. So, as I can't hit VTEC because it's quite bendy right now, let's talk a bit about the handling. So this car is quite firm. You feel pretty much every bump. In the Golf, you wouldn't really feel any of this. But that being said, when the car is a bit lower down and a bit stiffer, you do feel a bit more sure-footed in the corners when you're just kind of taking the car around the corners. Okay, let's hit VTEC again. Oh, it's fun, man. It's really fun. It's really fun. So even though the car isn't as fast as the Golf, or in-gear acceleration doesn't feel as fast, the 0 to 60 times are actually very similar, and I think that's maybe got to do with the long gear ratios on this, but like I said, the experience is completely different. To understand a car like this, you really have to drive it. But there is something really fun about being able to drive a car to its limits. So in this car, you can really drive it to its limits. So the steering feels a bit lighter than the Golf's. The Golf's is a bit more heavy. So it's like a different experience, but I wouldn't say one's better than the other. I think it's more personal preference. Alright, let's test VTEC out third gear. Oh, the noise of the engine. Here we go. 8,000. Fourth gear. Oh, that change was beautiful, and I need to slow it down. Oh, I was a bit hard on the brakes there. I'm not used to these brakes. Oh, VTEC's something else, honestly. They're very difficult to compare a high-revving, naturally aspirated engine to a turbocharged. But this car definitely is something. So I definitely recommend, if you've never experienced this, you have to try out an Fn2 Type R or an EP3 or just any high-revving, naturally aspirated engine, because there's honestly something about having your foot flat and just going through the revs. Okay, let's go again here. Third gear. Oh, the note, you hear the note change. And I'm going to come off this time. Go again, just downshift to second. Oh, red light by accident. Oh, 8,000, fourth gear still going. Oh, so much fun. I know it's got a bit of a reputation, not as good as the EP3, but the Fn2 is honestly something. And if you've never driven one, definitely drive. If you're thinking about buying one, you can get them really cheap. So It's definitely a really good alternative to the Mk5 GTI, but they're completely different. So you can't say one's better than the other. You have to drive both and take whatever suits your preferences or what you'd prefer to drive.
So I've got the keys to the Golf GTI. Going to take it out for a wee spin, give my thoughts on how I feel the car's performing and what it's like to drive as a pretty much first time driving this car. It holds the road pretty well, nice and twisty. You know, these roads are very twisty and it does hold the road very well. It's softer in suspension wise, I would say, to my Honda. You feel less of the bumps, you feel less of the road. But the boost, when you come out of a corner and you're in third gear, say, the boost in this is just something else. It does kick you back a little bit compared to VTEC. VTEC doesn't really kick you back. VTEC takes a while to kick in, but when VTEC kicks in, you know, it's sort of like a mini boost. But in this, you actually feel the boost low down, you know, coming out of bends and things, which I think is really, really, you know, props to VW for doing that. Like third gear here, look, it just pulls, man. The gear stick, the gearbox, it's a 6-speed manual. Is it 6-speed? Yeah, 6-speed manual gearbox. It's not a short shifter. The throws are slightly longer than my Honda's, and there's a bit more of a notchy feel to the gear stick. I would say the manual gearbox in the Civic, no other car of that generation can rival it, and I'm maybe being biased, but I feel that that is true. And when you're going through the gears, through the back roads, the boost out of the bends is something else. It's a different experience. It throws you back in your seat a little bit more. But if you're in the wrong revs or the wrong gear at the wrong time, you do feel that, you know, the turbo, because it takes a while to spool, you can have turbo lag, like foot flats now, right? So there's a bit of a lag. Now the boost kicks in. The boost is kicked in, I'm in third gear, and there you go, boost. Right, foot flat, it's a bit boom, here we go, there's the boost. And I would say about 3,500 RPM the turbo kicks in, and when it's on boost, the thing flies. It flies and it flies and it flies. Okay, the Civic revs all the way up to 8,300, so you've got that extra window of pushing the car. But it's got a nice feel to the steering wheel. The steering wheel is really nice and weighted, and you know, it does hold the road pretty well.
It's the end of the comparison between the Mk5 Golf GTI and the Fn2 Civic Type R, and I really enjoy driving the Fn2 because, you know, no modern car gives you that experience of a high revving naturally aspirated engine, because most of the modern hot hatches are all turbocharged. So I think when the first came out, it was kind of overlooked by the EP3, which was cheaper and had the independent rear suspension. But 15 years on now, I think that's one of the only cars that you can buy to get that kind of driving experience. Again, you still have the EP3, but some people see the Fn2 as that bit more practical as a daily driver. And let's not forget the Mk5 Golf GTI that kind of hit off the trend of turbocharged engines, because that 2-litre TFSI unit in the Mk5 GTI, all the modern cars are built upon that same unit. So from all the VAG group cars, including all the Audis, the S3s, anything with that 2-litre turbocharged engine, the Golf R, the new Golf GTI, it's all stemmed off from the Mk5 Golf GTI. So both cars are excellent hot hatches, and you know, they're completely different. And yeah, that's this comparison video. I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, because we've got lots more videos planned. I'm going to put a button right here. Hit that button to subscribe, okay? Hit the thumbs up, and also leave a comment. If you've driven any of these cars, let us know in the comments your experiences, what you prefer, why you prefer it, and yeah, just let me know. Okay, I'll see you guys for the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, and peace.